Are you ready for a super easy project? Hi, I'm Donna Regas from www.ShareFamilyStories.com. I'm an independent consultant with Heritage Makers, and this tutorial will show you how to make a Mother's Day card from a template. There are 4 nice things about this template that we're going to be using. First of all, it's an invitation. It's really like a 2-sided postcard. I will gladly give you this exclusive template. It's not available in the Heritage Makers Template Gallery, so this is the only place that you can get it. It uses the free Basic Art Collection. No Premier artwork is required. However, you can add Premier artwork if you have access to it. And the 4th nice thing about this is that Heritage Makers will direct mail your card. No addressing envelopes necessary. After you watch this demo, you'll be ready to make your own. If you use this particular template, when I transfer it to you, it will either go into your completed projects or into the section of your studio called My Templates. I've done this so many times now I don't even remember where it goes, and I apologize for that. But you will find it in either your completed projects or in the My Template section of your studio. I'm taking this out of the My Completed Projects section of my studio because that's actually what this is a completed project of mine. You copy it, and it will ask you to give it a new name. So I'm going to call this Mother's Day Card 2013. And after you copy it, you will X out of this box, and it will go right into your Projects in Progress. So you can click on the picture. In most cases it really is a picture. Or you can click on Edit. Your studio is password protected, which is nice because that way you can work on projects for people for gifts and they can't get into your account to look at them. The first time that you use Heritage Makers, or after you have cleared your cookies cache, which you should do quite often to get optimum performance out of your Adobe Flash Player, Adobe will ask you to allow unlimited use of Flash Player because it's required for this site. It doesn't eat up any memory on your computer, and it doesn't save anything to your hard drive. When you save and quit your project, it gets saved on the Heritage Makers website. So that's nice. My husband's always worried about the memory eaters that I put on the computer, and this is not one of them. All this writing that you see around the project is a kind of new feature that Heritage Makers added in September. It's called a design guide, and it's nice if you're not familiar with the Heritage Makers website because it gives you tips and tricks for how to make every project that there is in the Heritage Makers glossary of items. But this time I'm going to be your design guide, so I'm going to X out of it. The first thing I like to do when I use a template is I like to go to Edit, Lock, and Lock all in the project, because I want to make sure that all of the elements in the project are locked. When they're locked, you can't accidentally click and move them around, click and drag them out of place. So I can be sure that my template's going to stay together while I'm working on it. This little lock in your toolbox tells you that whatever element you have clicked on is locked. If I want to unlock it, I won't have that pink border anymore. And just for your information, that green border tells me that that picture is going to show up clearly in my finished project. A green means that you've got great resolution. So I've decided to make this card to give to my daughter. She's a mom too. She has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and she's a pretty darn good mom. So I want to give this card to her. The first thing I'm going to do is to move the toolbox over to the right-hand side of the screen. Sometimes things pop up over here on the left side of the page, that I want to be able to read, and you'll see that in a little bit. When I open my photos tray, I can look at my folders and my albums to find the pictures that I'm looking for. In order to make this card or any other project in Heritage Makers, you'll have to upload pictures as well. And that's what this is. This is the photo uploader. But that is a separate tutorial. We won't get into that right now. We'll just assume that you have pictures in your studio. The picture that I want of Allison as a baby is in an album for a book that I made called Allie's Poem. Well, the book was actually called The Best Mom Ever because she wrote a poem for me. As you can see, the photos take up half of my workspace, which, of course, I don't want. So I'm going to grab onto these 3 little bars in the gray area. I'm just going to drag this box down to where I have a single row of photos. Now I can actually drop that box all the way out of the way when I don't need it, and I can click on it and bring it back when I want it. But initially you may have to stretch it or shrink it down toward the bottom of the screen. Now this little box of arrows, I always call it a snowflake looking box, but it's actually an icon of arrows. If you click on that, it makes your project fit the area that you have available to you. I want the picture to go in to the same spot where this baby picture of me is. So I'm going to click on this baby picture and go to the row that this picture's in. I'm going to click on it and drag it right up over where it says drop photo here to swap. And voila, there it is. Now this picture, because this is a card for Allison, I want it to be a picture of something recent where Allison and I are both in the picture. So I'm going to the folder for Allison's wedding, and I have several albums in there. I have an album of pro pictures. I should mention that when you use professional pictures in Heritage Makers projects or Snapfish, Shutterfly, anything like that, you really should own the pictures, because you'll find if a photographer knows that you're using copyrighted pictures in a printed publication, he or she will get kind of upset. So we bought the pictures from Allison's wedding so we could have access to all of them. This is the picture that I want to use. It's kind of a wacky picture of Allison and me dancing together. I'm going to drag it up there and drop it in. Now I don't want all these people in my picture, so what I'm going to do is click on the picture. You always have to tell Heritage Makers what picture, text box, or element you're working with by clicking on it. I can go to adjust, and I can scale this picture so that it fills the space, but it doesn't change the size of the photo spot. When your picture is locked, the photo size or the placement will stay the same, and you can scale your picture up or down to any size that you want to show within that space that you have. You can also move it around inside the borders of that space. So you can click Done, or you can just click outside in the white space. And I like the looks of that. This picture was full color when I dragged it up there. So what that reminds me is that when I made the card for my mom, I used an effect called filter to change the picture to black and white. And if I don't want this picture to be black and white, I can click the drop-down menu and choose none. But I actually like this card with its black and white photos, so I'm going to go back to the filter box and make that picture black and white, and then I'm also going to make this picture black and white. I'm almost done with the front. All I need to do is change some information on the front of the card. This card was originally made in 2009. It's 2013, so I click on this text box, which is locked. That's what the pink border tells me. I can't accidentally move it out of the way. But I need to double click inside this text box to get a typing cursor. The typing box has a flashing cursor and a pale green line around it instead of the bright pink. And I can just type as if I'm in a word processing program and put in the information that I want. I do want it to say Happy Mother's Day, but she calls me Mom, so I want it to say Mom. And I'm finished with the front of my card. I'm going to save it. This is not so different from working in Microsoft Word, or I don't know what the word processing program is in Apple, but you want to save often. Let's click on the back of the card and click, well, in fact, I don't need my pictures anymore, so let's just click that tray out of the way. There. If I click on the Zoom to Fit button, this whole card fills up my space. There are only two things I'm going to change on the back here. I don't want it to say Mom. I want it to say Allie, so I'm going to click inside this box until I get my cursor. Delete, backspace. You can drag and highlight if you want. But her name fits. I'm going to put an exclamation point at the end of it because I think that's kind of fun. And I'm done with that. The sentiment I put on the card to my mom was, "You mean so much to me." And I could send that to Allison because it's true, but I thought of another one that I want to put on Allison's card, so I'm going to change the writing in this text box. I'm going to click on the text box, double click it, or click it as many times as I have to get the flashing cursor. There. And I'm going to drag and highlight this sentence and instead type, "I'll always be your mom, but I enjoy being your friend too." And it doesn't fit, does it? It doesn't fit because it's a lot more words than what I had in there before, and the font is so large. So my first attempt at making this fit will be to reduce the size of the font until the whole phrase fits. And I'll enlarge it so that it fits all the way to the end of the text box. To me, that's too small. So I need to do something else with my phrase to make it larger. And what I'm going to do is click in front of the word but, press enter on my keyboard so that I can have two parts to this phrase, one line above another. The reason it's not showing up that way is because there's a large space in between the two lines. And I can go to this line spacing tool and I can click a number that's less than 0 to bring those lines closer together. So wow, okay, there's -17 and those lines are pretty close together. I'm wondering if I can even make the font a little bit bigger. Let's see. Ah, that fits. That doesn't. What if I go a little bit closer, maybe one notch closer? There we go. I like that. It's large enough to read, and it fits. The only thing that I'm not sure about now, and I hadn't anticipated this, is that I've got a big space over here. So I think I want to put an embellishment in there. I'm going to open up the art collection, and because I've set my tray to only show one row, it only shows one row of the artwork. But as you can see, Heritage Makers has lots and lots and lots of collections. They add them every month, and as far as I know, they don't remove any of the collections. So Heritage Makers' digital artwork collection is just going to continue to grow and grow. Right now we have over 10,000 elements of digital scrapbooking art in our Heritage Makers website. What I want is actually a heart. And I did promise you that this would be all basic art in this template. So we're going to stick to basic art, but before we go to basic art, I want to show you all the hearts that are available in the Premier account. So let's search. There are 34 collections that have hearts in them. And if I go down to embellishments, I see that there are 867 hearts in the embellishment collection. This row shows 50 of them, and I can just drag this bar across, but I'll only see 50 of them. So I want to see all the hearts. And if I click See More, then all 867 hearts are going to show up here. But these are all Premier elements. Well, I shouldn't say they're all Premier. They're not. Everything with a P in front of it is a Premier element. This is a basic element. This is a basic element. So, it can be really frustrating to be looking for something for a basic template and seeing all these P's pop up. So I'm going to hide Premier. But when I go down to embellishments, there are 76 heart embellishments in the basic collection. And there's just such a variety. I'm sure if you have a basic account, there's plenty to choose from. I want to see all of them. I'm going to click through here until I find something that I want to drag up into that area. Sometimes it's hit or miss. That's the beautiful thing about this. It's not like when you scrapbook and you glue something down and you're stuck with it. I like this. And so I'm going to pull this up. It's just a click and drag. That's the normal size of this embellishment, but I don't have to keep it that size. I can make it larger. I can pull in on the edges to make it smaller, which is really what I want to do. And I kind of like things off center, so I think that's where I'm going to keep it. Let's drop the collection tray and click off into the white space so we can see what that looks like. And I like that. So I'm going to save it. I do want to show you one other thing because you might encounter this. This has a pink border around it. It's locked. I can't accidentally move it. This has a green border around it, or it could be yellow, brown, or red, but it's not locked. And you can see over here that this lock is not locked. What can happen sometimes is you go to click on something else, like maybe I would go to click on this paper background, this paper strip, and I would accidentally move my element. Well, I could put it back into place, and what might happen is I might accidentally turn it, I might accidentally enlarge it. Oh man, this is driving me crazy. I wish I could just undo that and go back to the way it was. Well, you can. Go up to Edit, click Undo. It will take you back to the last place that it was. You might have to click Edit, Undo again, and it's still not where I want it, so I'm going to go back one more time, and that's where I want it. And now I'm going to click on that embellishment and lock it because I want to make sure that it's locked. I'm going to go up to Edit, Lock, and make sure that my whole project is locked. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to preview it. When the preview comes up, I can see if it looks the way that I want it to look when I send it to my daughter. I have to reduce the size just a little bit. This red border, this big red border, shows you what's going to be cut away. And it also shows you where the barcode will be on the card. I'll always be your mom, but I enjoy being your friend too. I like where this element is. I like the way that looks. That's great. Go back to the front. 2013. I've got the pictures in there the way I want them. They're both black and white. I've signed it Mom instead of Donna. I'm good. So I'll X out of this box, and I'm ready to publish. This box comes up that reminds you that your project will appear in your completed projects page. So, yep, I'm ready to continue. It's going to ask me if I have previewed my project and if it appears correct, and it does. But if for some reason I hadn't looked at it in the preview window, I could still open it up here, and if it didn't look right, I could reopen it in the Studio Editor and I could work on it. Click Ready to Publish, and it's going to show up in My Completed Projects. This is where your finished project will land when you publish it, and you can decide to add it to the cart and have it shipped to you with an envelope, or you can decide to direct ship this card to the person that you're mailing it to. I will tell you that this card costs $3 retail. If you're not hooked by the time you make a card, then go ahead and pay for the card and shipping during the checkout process. But if you're anything like me or my superstar clients who imagine every picture we take in a storybook or a calendar or a canvas or a metal print, then you'll want to buy publishing points at a discount before you pay for your card. You can knock 10 to 50% off the retail price of your projects just by laying away publishing points every month through me. If you want to direct ship your card, watch the tutorial about setting up your Heritage Makers address book. And if you want to customize your card even more and learn some more tech tools, watch Mother's Day Card Part 2. It's very possible that the most important thing to remember about any project that you make in Heritage Makers is that I will help you if you call 503-992-8767 or 702-561-1612, which is my cell phone, and you can text me there as well. Or you can email me at donnaregas@yahoo.com. You won't be bugging me. This is what I do, and this is what I love to do. So I guess all that's left to say is have fun creating. I'll see you in the next tutorial.